having friends is very nice. Being able to talk to someone about your problems or just engage with someone that has similar interests can be very, very good and can help you morally, boost your morale, and overall do a lot of other things that I don't know because I'm not an expert on friendship. Most of the time, if you have enough friends, you're going to have friends with different opinions, different views on certain issues. Like, you might like Bastion from Overwatch, but your friend could totally hate Bastion from Overwatch and have valid reasons for it. But when it comes to politics, that's a bit different. For some, having friends with different political opinions is fine at the end of the day, because, it doesn't bug them that much. But for others, having friends with different political opinions can be a bit of a deal breaker. Personally, when it comes to me, it's kinda somewhere in the middle. For example, I'm not gonna stop being friends with someone because they think Biden would be a good president. Mostly because I don't really care that much if they think that. Sure, I know they're wrong, I personally think they're wrong, but I'm not gonna drop them because of that. And sure, I might tell him, hey, he's not the best candidate out there. Trust me, Bernie was much better. Free healthcare and all of that, good things. And Joe Biden, he seems kind of lazy. However, if I had a friend who wanted to vote for Trump, I would probably be like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out that much. For some, doing something like that is severely silly and kind of stupid. Why would you stop being friends with someone over different political opinions? Well, let's start to explain it. I have a question for you. Would you be friends with a pedophile? Pick related. You would probably answer with a completely understandable fuck no. But why? Because it's immoral. It's completely shitty to prey on children like that. Now, I'm not saying Donald J. Trump is a pedophile. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised considering the type of people he hangs out with. No, the reason why supporting Trump is bad is because it's morally wrong, because Trump is a morally wrong person. Recently, Donald Trump called people who fought in wars losers and suckers. Oh boy, that's just great. I thought Republicans loved veterans and war heroes. Guys. Trump also specifically targeted people who fought in Vietnam, saying it was a stupid war. Well, to be fair, he kind of has a point. And anyone who went was a sucker. And look, don't get me wrong. The Vietnam War was mostly a whose dick was bigger contest and happened around the time of the Cold War. The Vietnam War was really, really bad. We lost that war, remember? And also we committed numerous war crimes. But I wouldn't call Vietnam veterans bad people. They're victims of a corrupt system and years of propaganda. The reason I bring up the recent military veteran thing is because it's extremely shitty of Trump to do that. And it's a popular example of something I think both sides can agree with. I think both sides can agree that shitting on veterans is a bad thing. Now, we could talk about better examples of Trump being an asshole, but we'll save that for another day because honestly, I don't want this video to be an hour. I want it to be more like 13 or 15 minutes. At the end of the day, voting for Trump is morally wrong. So why would you be friends with someone that wants to vote for Trump? A morally bad person? Now, you could in fact argue that morals are subjective. But even then, morals like this are a bit more, important than, oh man, I have a different opinion on Bastion. Now, here's another question. You probably wouldn't be friends with someone that's an abuser, would you? And you probably wouldn't be friends with someone that's an abuser apologist. Someone that says, well, abusers aren't that bad. Sometimes you gotta smack around the wife, which is an extremely shitty thing to say. But what about other forms of abuse apology? Like, for example, being against the minimum wage going up. Now, some of you might think, oh, what? Paying your employees less than a living wage is abusing them? they agreed to work for shit wages. But that's kind of like saying, you know, if they didn't want to be in an abusive relationship, they could just leave. And, you know, they might go out without no financial support or end up being in a situation where they're homeless. And yes, maybe your friend isn't the abuser, but they're still supporting the abuser. They're still letting the abuser have more power. Your friend, whether you like it or not, is enabling abuse. Let's do another example. Let's say your friend is against Black Lives Matter because of all the tearing up they do, even though most Black Lives Matter protests are in fact peaceful. Let's ignore that fact. They also like to think that black people aren't oppressed in today's society. Systemic racism does not exist, and racist people do not exist either. At worst, your friend's a moron, and at best, they're a massive racist. In fact, here's another question. Would you be friends with someone that's against famous Black Lives Matter protester Martin Luther King Jr.? Obviously you wouldn't, because that Martin Luther King fought against oppression of black people, police brutality, and oh wait, that's exactly Black Lives Matter. These are important matters that you just can't hand wave away and say, oh, who cares if he hates all of those important things. People like that often enable politicians like Trump to take over and have power over those and oppress others. You can't just let that slide by. And I understand, you still have that strong emotional connection to that person. And I'm not saying you should stop being friends with them. Try to change their minds on certain issues. Explain to them that certain things are not as clear as they think they are. Try to get them to not vote for people like Donald Trump. And if they won't budge, well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but maybe you shouldn't be friends with them anymore. Because having those kind of friends normalizes those type of beliefs. By trying to say, oh, my friend just has different political opinions than me, you're basically saying that being against groups like Black Lives Matter is equal to that of not liking Bastion. Being against protesting for civil rights is not good. It's an extremely shitty thing. It's nowhere near on the level of just having a different opinion on shit like Bastion. I'm not saying you should stop being friends with people with different beliefs. I still think it depends on what those beliefs are. And if you think you have the ability to change your friend's mind, then that's great. I think you should try to do that. Making there be less Republicans in the world is a great thing. But if they refuse to budge and they refuse to change, why be friends with bad people? There's plenty of friends that you can make out there. Why do you have to be friends with someone with toxic beliefs? At the end of the day, you really do have little excuse. So you'll feel bad, but what's worse? Not having one less friend? Or having a friend that supports all those bad things and you going out of their way to basically normalize that? And look, let me just make it clear. If you're friends with a Republican or Trump supporter, you're not a bad person. Those views aren't necessarily yours. But if you enable those views or try to normalize those views by saying they're just a different opinion, well, then I hate to break it to you, but you are a bad person. And I know what someone is going to try to say. Oh, so does that make me a bad person? Am I a bad, evil person? Can I not do good? Boo-hoo! I guess I'm just evil. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You can definitely change. But if you refuse to, then yeah, you are a bad person. Let me make it clear, you aren't literally Hitler, but you're still doing bad things. And you're being a bad person. Let me simplify it for you. Good friends don't let other friends be fascists. If you want to support me and my content, then you should go on Patreon and become a patron. I also have a Discord group where you can talk with me and other fans. You can also follow me on Twitter. Ko-Fi is also available if you want to make quick and easy one-time donations. Riddle Lightning is also the creator of the Deviant Crow OC, so go follow him and possibly get a commission. I also have a Tumblr and an Instagram, but note, I don't use them much. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe!